You want the good news, you want the bad news?
I don't like either one of those options.
Your words are super wise, man.
Is this the Dr. Ray?
You know, we're not doing therapy here.
But you're a psychologist.
I'm certainly not going to get myself in trouble by telling you what to do.
I got to say, you're really helping me by taking my call today.
I just never thought I would call your show.
All right, first of all, my advice to you is going to be to shut your mouth.
I like that. I can do that. That's doable.
You're my second favorite Italian person.
I hope you're going to agree with me.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I just was calling to let you know that you are right.
Nevertheless, I digress.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Was that the only one we had of a woman saying, I just called to tell you you were right? Is that you? How many shows back did you have to go, Andrew, to find that one? It's from that's from Cresta in the afternoon. All right. Well, see, people don't realize that. A lot of these quasi-positive bumper pieces we pirate from other programs. Can't really use too many of my own. Real nice to have you with me on The Doctor Is In. I appreciate your calls so very, very much, whether they are involving your own personal situations, whether they are generic questions about something you don't understand in the world of mental health or living. That's pretty broad. Or whether you want to offer a helpful suggestion to somebody else. You folks have great, great ideas. You are a worldwide internet service. Or if you simply want to piggyback and say, this is what I learned in my own life. So many different reasons why you can call, and I'm so grateful for your calls. So, the number 2, 877-573-7825. Now you put that into acronymic terms, 877-57-EQUAL. Somebody called me once and said, What? I don't get that. Equal? What? Where's the number? Well, because each of the numbers on a phone has letters with it. Maybe it's left over from the old days of when we had the rotary dial phones. I don't know. I don't know where the letters came from. But we do have letters. So, 877-57-EQUAL if you'd like to get on to the program. And those of you who call right at the top, please be patient because I will get to you. What else do I have to say? Let me think. Okay, we have, somebody said, can you share a little bit about your home life? All right. Several years into our marriage, my wife and I weren't sure if we wanted any children. And the hard part of that was telling the children, trying to figure out when to tell the children. That was tough. Okay, I'm kidding. Now, good Lord permitting, on October, I'm pretty sure I got the date right here. I got to make sure it's exactly the date. I think it's October 28th and 29th. After a 9-year hiatus from Russell Video Studios in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yep, it is the 28th and 29th. We're going, good Lord permitting, to tape 4 shows of Living Right with Dr. Ray, the TV show. We have to produce 12 before the end of the year. And so our second group of 4 will be in Ann Arbor, October 28th and 29th. It's been 9 years since we've had a live audience there. One of our guests is going to be Father Joe Krupp. Many of you may know him. Incredibly bright, sensitive, and funny priest. He wrote comedy for, I forget which groups, but it was a Family Channel. I don't know where it was, but he wrote comedy, and you can tell it when he talks. So if you'd like to be in the audience, and we have limited seating, I found out from the Russell Video folks, they can put only about 55 people in there. I don't know. I'd kind of like you to have standing room only, but we'll see. So we have shows at 5:30 and 7:15 both nights, the 28th or 29th. You can go to AveMariaRadio.net and sign up. I should be right there on the home page. signing up for it. You can sign up for 1, 2, 3, 4, however many you wish. And shortly thereafter, we're going to be in Washington, D.C. at the Catholic University of America, which is really, really fomenting, is that the right way to use that word, their Catholic identity. Absolutely. So, like to see you there. I didn't catch this when I was in grad school because I was at one of those points in my life where I had one foot strongly planted in the psychological narrative about many things and one foot in my faith. And I would have been more sensitive to this, except I wasn't. How's that for an explanation? The language we were told to use, and the language that was just the coin of the realm, was to be non-judgmental. So you didn't tell a child that punching his brother was wrong. That's judgmental. You were to say that's inappropriate or unacceptable. That was the language you were to use, not only with kids, but with adults. So your 17-year-old daughter believes that you leaving your wife and her 4 siblings is just unacceptable, inappropriate, a bad choice, bad choices, a mistake. Always wanted to go to confession. Bless me, Father, mistakes were made. You couldn't use wrong. You couldn't use bad. Ooh, those were just such judgmental words. Is kicking a puppy, like, unacceptable? Well, I think it's pretty bad, actually. And what about if you're in Boston and you're rooting for the New York Yankees? That's really bad. All right? That's not just inappropriate. Bless me, Father, for I have made some inappropriate choices. Now, part of the reason that language gained prominence was because we didn't give much acknowledgement to God. He was just sort of quietly shunted off to the side. He really didn't have part in our therapy. Yeah, we recognize that some of our unenlightened clients might still believe in God, might still guide their lives by His suggestions, that is, not His commandments. That's kind of that's kind of overbearing. By His options, the 10 options. So we didn't use words like wrong. Who's to say what wrong is, correct? Furthermore, with the self-esteem movement gaining momentum, you say someone's behavior is wrong or bad, you're kind of dinging up their self-esteem. If you say their behavior is inappropriate, that certainly takes away that stinger of doing something wrong to another person. Butkus, now, the ice pick in your sister's arm. Poor choice, unacceptable. Listen to young parents talk to their children, their preschool children. I guarantee you, on a ratio of about 10 to 1, you will hear unacceptable, inappropriate, besides bad choices, than wrong. What you did was very, very wrong. It just stings of judgmentalism, doesn't it? Well, you got to figure it this way. If, in fact, there is no God, and the mental health professions, by and large, tend to drift toward either no God or there is a God, they believe in Him, but, well, I shouldn't say Him. But I don't. That's. I don't know if you can't say Him. Or they just kind of reconstruct Him in a more psychological acceptable image. if that's how you see it, then you really can't say that something is wrong. How do you say it's wrong? You say it's socially unacceptable by current standards. You could say that, I guess. Or by current agreed-upon legalities or societal opinions. But you can't really say it's wrong. It just goes against the reigning psychological conduct standards, I guess. Very difficult. That is wrong. Leaving your wife and kids is wrong. Why is that? Well, because why? I don't think it's wrong. I'm unhappy. I'm miserable. I found somebody better. How could that be wrong? I want to be happy. You can't say that's wrong. You know, if there's no God, the guy's got a point. He really does. If there's no God, you got to admit, he's right. It's just pretty much a societal standard. And yeah, he made a commitment, sort of, at one time, but so what? Well, it's wrong to break a commitment. No, you can't say it's wrong to break a commitment. Says who? When he made the commitment, he wasn't thinking ahead. Didn't think he'd meet somebody else. He didn't think his wife would be so difficult to live with. Can't say it's wrong. It's maybe going to have unexpected consequences. Could make life difficult, as he has not anticipated. Without God? Yeah. Yeah, most behavior is unacceptable or inappropriate if it's negative. But if there is a God, yeah, you can probably still use wrong and bad. And those are good words. Ooh, can I say good? Acceptable. Those are acceptable words. 877-57 equal. Let's get to your calls.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com. We are the pro-life generation, passionate about building the culture of life in our healthcare and in our nation. But not all healthcare options are equally pro-life, and some provide morally objectionable procedures. CMF Curo is different. CMF Curo is a pro-life Catholic healthcare ministry providing a pathway for its members to build the culture of life in their healthcare choices, not destroy it. Learn more about CMF Curo at mycatholichealthcare.com. That's mycatholichealthcare.com.
Hello, Steve Ray here from Footprints of God Pilgrimages. The land of our Lord and Our Lady is calling us. We're heading back to the Holy Land over Christmas break this year. We have the best, most reliable guides and services awaiting us. The holy sites are open, and the local Christians are anxious to see us. Galilee, Jerusalem, Nazareth, Bethlehem. No crowds, no lines. Hope you can join us.
Find the Ave Maria Radio travel tab at AveMariaRadio.net.
This program brought to you in part by Ave Maria, Florida, a big kind of small town where golf carts take you everywhere and there's always something fun around the corner. Discover championship golf, resort-style amenities, and a town center full of shopping and dining. With Ave Maria University and Ave Maria Catholic Church at its heart, it's a community full of connection and charm. More than 25 model homes are available for viewing. More information can be found at AveMaria.com. That's AveMaria.com.
Generations ago in our culture, an awful lot that is now looked upon as hateful, hideous, awful, bigoted, unacceptable. That's one good thing about people who don't believe in God. They can't tell you you're wrong. They just have to say you're unacceptable. Well, now it is, at the very least, controversial or hateful, vile. Yeah. Our culture has been shaped so quickly away from a lot of traditional ideas that did work well. Not all of them, but a lot of them did. Well, Teresa from Columbus, Ohio, is getting beat up because, well, she's not allowed to think the way she's thinking. Hi, Teresa.
Oh, hi, Dr. Ray. That was a good monologue. It was really good. I've been walking with a neighbor who doesn't agree with me politically or religiously, and she brings up I want to say almost digs. She brings up things that are not very nice, and I try to change the subject, and I go on, and I ignore, and it, and there are times when it's wonderful, and there are times when she does kind things for me, and I was just trying, I keep going along with it, and then recently we walked, and she mentioned Trump, which led to, and I tried to ignore again and change. It did. She was adamant, and it, wow. And then Charlie Kirk, and to make it short, basically she was happy. She had a smirk on her face, and I was just like, you're glad he was killed. He was a 31-year-old, vibrant, healthy father. I just was just. And
so
I
you're walking, Tracy, you're walking with a lady who was glad someone was murdered.
See, that's what I'm saying. Well, I don't know what to do. She's like, and then she realized my heart was beating. I was so upset. She knows I'm Catholic, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And then it's like, I keep saying, "Okay, Lord, Jesus said, forgive, 70-something." I'm like, but she actually was glad that he was shot, and she was almost basically telling me that she wished Trump would have been killed. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Oh, like, I know what I would do. I know what I would do.
Okay.
I'd quit walking with her.
Okay.
Why? Why walk with somebody who not only is negative about what you believe? I can understand that. Okay, she doesn't agree with you. Okay, got it.
Right.
But to take pot shots at you and then say things that she has to know would shock you to your core. She has to know that when she reveled in somebody's death, especially somebody who, in many respects, no matter what you think of his viewpoints, in many respects, he tried to bring about some kind of dialogue and was clear in his Christian walk, even though he acknowledged what a sinner he was. So, given that, she's basically saying to you, not only do I not agree with you, Teresa, but I think it's within my domain to fire off, put down remarks about how you think, about the most central things in your life. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, because she's made one even like dig against the Catholic faith, and then basically with this Charlie Kirk thing, she was saying he kind of asked for it. He was a propagandist. He was. I did not know she was that far gone. I thought maybe if I was doing the Christian thing and showing her how happy I am as a Catholic, that it's not rubbing off.
How long have you walked?
Why is she?
How long have you walked with her?
I'm sorry.
How long have
Probably
you
about
walked?
3 years. My husband passed away. I'm the one that called in earlier a while ago about is faith enough? And
so you're finding out what she thinks when events and people become more apparent in our existence. So in other words, you would not have known that her attitude could be, I would be celebrating somebody's death who I think not only disagrees with me, but is a quote-unquote dangerous individual for the beliefs that he has, right?
Yeah, I'm shocked.
What if,
I'm
not.
Why?
I'm
She's
not.
apologizing to me.
No.
She's apologizing to me. Why is she apologizing to me? I'm like, I realize she doesn't respect me, right?
Well, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What if you said to her, I think I'm just going to walk by myself. I think that given your attitude toward me and toward what I most deeply believe in, and given the idea that you could actually celebrate someone being killed, I think it's best that we just go our separate ways.
Yeah, I think that's why I wanted to hear that I think she crossed the line here.
Oh, well, she didn't cross the line. She just slipped. She slipped and she
was
told
like, yeah,
you what
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like I shouldn't. But she's not sorry for her thought about that. She's sorry that it slipped out.
I just can't believe people feel that way.
Oh, I can.
Wow.
I can.
Wow.
I have seen how in the last 20, 30, 40 years in our culture, the relentless onslaught of the media, of Hollywood, of, in many respects, our educational institutions, and now most viciously social media, has misshapen so many people in the way they look at things. And there is a percentage of them who now believe that if you have certain thoughts and ideas that not only they disagree with, but that they think are harmful and vicious and bigoted and whatever, then it is perfectly acceptable. Matter of fact, it is good, to use a value judgment word, that you don't exist. You can tell her. You can say, I was totally shocked that you could actually celebrate the murder of someone, and that you could actually wish. You can tell her that. You can just simply say, I think maybe we're too far apart in the way we look at things. I have never, ever fired off shots at you because of the way you believe. Have I? You can ask her that. Have I ever put you down? Okay.
Never.
And then you say, what you have done shows me. Not what you didn't do it just once. You've been doing it.
Yeah.
And I think until you decide to give someone the same respect, then it's best that we just walk separate. I got a question for you though. How long have you had to grit your teeth at stuff that you can't predict she's going to say?
Since we started walking, because I almost feel like, okay, it's okay, I forgive her, let's walk. And then sometimes I felt like I was walking a little bit on eggshells, or I would talk a lot so she wouldn't. I just didn't realize that until recently. I would go for a walk and try to talk a lot so she wouldn't.
Teresa, it's not a matter of you forgiving her, dear. It's not a matter of you forgiving her.
Okay.
It's a matter of you are certainly within your Christian well-being to say this is an individual who thinks so radically different than I do that she takes many opportunities to fling it at me. And if I'm going to go out for a walk, I don't want to walk on eggshells. I want to walk on the cement. That's where you are. Yeah. And maybe, just maybe, she'll come to you later and say, I am so sorry. I know I've been doing that, and that is, well, she won't say it's wrong. She'll probably say, and that's inappropriate. Yeah, you have to make that decision. I can't tell you what to do, but I know what I would do. 877-57-EQUAL. Want to be inappropriate or unacceptable. There are some beautiful calls up there. And by using the word beautiful, I mean folks who are just trying to live life better. And I want to get to all of them. So please, I ask your patience. EWTN Radio brings you the Holy Rosary twice each day. Over 30 years now. In English. I pray my rosary in Aramaic, while I levitate over broken glass. Every morning, 5:30 Eastern, Mother Angelica. Say the rosary. Pray the rosary with Mother Angelica. I know my wife is always correcting me. I'm going to say the rosary. Ray, you're going to pray the rosary. Okay. And every evening at 9:30 p.m. Eastern with Father Benedict Groeschel. What a guy. Only on EWTN Radio. All right, here we go. Maria from Ontario, Canada. Hi, Maria.
Hello, Dr. Ray. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thanks for the call.
You're very welcome. So I have a kind of a complex situation, Dr. Ray. I actually emailed you last year, and you suggested I call into the radio show, so I'm glad to finally.
Well, it took you a couple of years. What are you doing?
Oh. Procrastination, I suppose, or I don't know.
All right. Then you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to answer this call 2 years from now. So you tune in 2 years from now, September 16th, 2027, to get an answer. All right, I'll do it now. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So my situation is that, so I'm married but separated. So my spouse and I got married, but we've been separated for a few years because, well, there's several issues, but the main issue being he's a hoarder. And so I couldn't live in that situation. And we have a child together, so obviously I want a healthy environment for our child. And anyway, it's been quite a few years, and I don't see improvement in that aspect, but it's also, the other piece is that he has a very, explosive personality, I guess. He gets very angry easily, and he just picks on, really petty things. And I find that I have an issue with boundaries because he comes over often.
Maria, I'm going to have to interrupt you, dear, because I've got to try to narrow this down. Is something coming up? Something coming up that you're going to have to deal with him?
Constantly, all the time, because we have to parent.
All right, so you still are raising your children?
Yes.
Okay. So he visits?
Yes, he visits. He comes over. We also actually go to mass together, and I go visit my in-laws with him.
All right.
So it's
weird. What makes you nervous about him being around?
Because there's been a lot of incidents of physical harm. There's a lot of arguing and yelling and things that just cannot happen.
Are you saying that he has hit you?
Yes.
Did you do anything about it?
Well, I think initially it was just such a shock that when it first happened, that's when I decided to separate.
Has it happened since?
Yes.
Did you do anything about it?
Well, I think I've tried. I've tried in terms of counseling, even talking to the police. But it kind of goes both ways in the sense of it's my word against his. And it's just a very tricky situation.
Yes,
I don't think our society makes these things easy.
Are you seeing a counselor now?
No, I'm not, because I haven't found one that I believe shares, good values and in our Catholic faith.
So here's what you're asking. You're asking, I've still got a lot of contact with this person I'm married to, even though we're separate. He comes, he does things with our family. He, from what you're saying, he can be unpredictable and get angry.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to decide what you're going to do about that. If you're asking me, if you're saying, what do I do about it? Well, Maria, I don't know anything about the details. I can't give you a therapy answer because this isn't therapy. So you may have to discuss this with him regarding what you're going to do if he ever hits you again. If you say, well, I'm going to go to the cops like I did before. Well, if you go to the cops again, one of these times they're going to get tired of this and they're going to do something about it. You consider the children. Are the children afraid of him? Are the children saying, I don't want him around. We don't have predictability with him. I don't know, okay? So for me to say, here's what you do, Maria, I can't do that.
Right.
But what I would say is, you know what his trigger points are in terms of what can get him irate. You know it. You live with him. You've been separated from him, but you still see him. So as best you can, don't do the trigger points. Don't accuse him. Don't argue with him. Don't back him into a corner. Don't insult him. Those are the trigger points.
Right.
And you've seen what could happen in his reaction. So that would be my suggestion on this. You're the one who's got to say, I'm going to try to keep the peace as best I can with this situation, but I'm going to draw a very clear line here regarding physical abuse. And maybe you might want to get yourself to a counselor, too, for the counselor to say, okay, Maria, if this extremely difficult spouse is in your life and you're still raising your kids, then we got to figure out exactly, well, not exactly, I don't know if there is an exactly, but we got to figure out better ways to keep a lid on any possible eruptions. I wish I could give you more than that, Maria, but I guess I repeat on this show constantly, I can't do therapy here because I don't know all the massive details involved in all this. And I know folks call and say, please give me an idea. Well, I think I gave you one, which is it's going to fall on your shoulders to not provoke. I'm sure he looks at it like, yeah, well, Maria, you're no saint either. You're not easy to live with either. I'm sure he looks at it that way. Mm-hmm. Whether it's right or not, I'm sure that's his perception. This is Dr. Ray, 877-573-7825. Don't leave me. That would be inappropriate. Unacceptable? Wouldn't be wrong. Thank you for joining me. What a privilege. What an absolute privilege. Blessing it is to be here. Never would have dreamed it in my early days as a shrink. Always thought I was just going to be sitting in an office talking with people or doing consulting work for various agencies. This is a special treat. Now again, to reiterate, no therapy here, no diagnosing. Give a few ideas and thoughts to ponder, educational experience, and if you're seeing another therapist, that's it. My mouth has to be shut. Anonymous caller brings up an absolutely great point. I'll let her make it. Hi, anonymous caller from Florida.
Hi, Dr. A. I just want to say, first of all, I want to say thank you for your wit and wisdom. I love listening to you. So I guess I am having a really hard time with all the disgusting, vile things that people are saying I'm so, doing the happy dance that somebody was murdered, and for trying to talk to people. I just think that's disgusting. But at the same time, everybody has freedom of speech, and if freedom of speech doesn't apply to everybody, then it applies to nobody. But at the same time, I don't want to be around those people who celebrate someone's death.
Well, first of all, I'm going to do a little Charlie Kirk on you. I'm going to disagree with your premise.
Okay.
Freedom of speech is not unlimited. The old cliche, you can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater. You can't say, I'm going to kill the President of the United States. There are limits to freedom of speech. Now, those are legal limits, but there are social limits to freedom of speech. For example, there are certain words now that are scurrilous, but if you use them on social media or if you use them in public, you're going to get hammered. All right, that is a limit of freedom of speech. You are not permitted to say many things that go against the prevailing social narrative that is set by a minority, but a powerful minority, because they control the heights of opinion making. So there are limits. Now, for someone to say, I am so happy that this young man was murdered because he just says things that are vile and horrible, and he's divisive. So people like that we don't need in our society. Well, okay, a certain response could be made that he doesn't advocate murdering anybody. He doesn't advocate violence. He says things that you don't at all agree with because you think they're homophobic, Islamophobic. So, in that sense, he deserves to die. And the sooner we get rid of people like him, the better. Now, if that's their attitude, you have every right to say, I'm shocked by that belief. I'm shocked by that attitude. And there isn't anything that I can do to convince you otherwise because you don't want to hear it.
Isn't someone saying that I'm glad that he was shot and people like that shouldn't be around? Isn't that basically a terrorist threat?
Depends how you stretch the word, I guess. For example, now, the fact that George Floyd was killed was a tragedy.
Right.
But look what happened after his murder. I mean, he was elevated into a status that was off the charts. There were just all kinds of memorials, periods of silence in professional football teams. I mean, they went all out to say this is an example of the vileness of our prejudice, systemic racist culture. All right, now that was their view. But for Charlie Kirk, who said things and had a megaphone, it's now okay. So there's definitely a dual standard here. However, you have the right. Now, I got to believe there are people in my life that would celebrate his death. I don't know who they are, and I probably would be shocked to find out. They've maybe kept it to themselves. You have the right to say, if that's how you think, if that's how you feel, unless you're a person that's at the very center of my life, you're my father-in-law, okay, you're my brother, okay, I'm not going to write you off. But if this is a social acquaintance, if this is someone you work with sort of, kind of, you can say to yourself, we're so far apart in our thinking that it would just simply be better for us to keep our distance. Now, that said, go ahead, honey. You go ahead.
I was going to ask, so the people who have been fired for saying horrible things and celebrating in different positions of power and stuff, I mean, I saw one who had a horrible meltdown online, and I don't know if that's partly just for seeking attention or if it's real, that, he just had a meltdown because he was fired for what he said about the situation, and he was blaming everybody but him, and I was like, well, I wouldn't want to work with you. I mean... Okay,
to answer that, first of all, private agencies have the right to have their standards. My sister-in-law was at our house this morning, and she worked for a Catholic hospital. And she said there were things that they made very clear to her, that if you say or do things, these things, even out of the line of work, they would be problematic. So that's the first thing. The second thing is most of these folks have been fired from private organizations, from business organizations, and they have that right to do that. They can say to actively celebrate the death, the murder of someone who is not a vile criminal who is preying upon people. He's just saying things that you regard as horrible in your mind, and half the country or more doesn't regard them as horrible. So to say that speaks of something within you that may be unreachable. Given that, one thing you could do when you hear this from someone near you, you turn to them and you say, why would you celebrate the murder of someone? Because he's divisive, he hurts people, and he's responsible for many people dying. You believe that, don't you? Yes. Well, I guess as long as you believe someone is demonized, it naturally follows you think they should be dead. Yeah, I think personally, from a Christian standpoint, morally, that's really stepping over the line. But again, you know what? It's interesting because the irony is so many of these same people who would celebrate his death also celebrate killing babies in the womb. So it doesn't totally shock me. There is a heavy minority in this country who believe that it's okay to kill a baby even as the baby is being born. One of our political parties believes this. So, yeah. Wow. So the fact that they're celebrating his death, I want to say, well, is he any less innocent than a baby being born?
Is there really anything we can do about it?
Yes. We can do everything in our power to live as Christians, and we can do everything in our power to speak up boldly in a charitable way. God bless you, honey. Stand strong. You know,
thank you.
I just found out that there have been 18,000 requests for Turning Point chapters for colleges and high schools. Now, currently,
that's pretty awesome.
That's awesome because it dwarfs what they now have. So the question becomes, will this energize people who believe in certain traditional ideas, or will it be like 9/11, and it'll be a rush back to church, and it'll eventually just quickly fade away? Boy, so many good thoughts up there. Thank you, dear, for calling. This is Dr. Ray.
Underwritten in part by this not-for-profit.
Hi, this is Mike Ditkin.
Hey, this is Brian May.
Hi, I'm Chris Farley. You're listening to the Kevin Matthews Show.
I thought he was insane. A lot of people thought he was insane.
Nobody could touch us. We had 10 million people listening to us a week.
That was my past. If you would have told me I'd be carrying around a broken statue of the Virgin Mary, talking about God, I'd say, are you high?
Broken Mary, the Kevin Matthews story. In theaters one day only on Tuesday, October 7th. Tickets at brokenmaryfilm.com.
Fire on the Earth's Peter Herbeck.
Without the light that comes from Christ, we walk in darkness. And darkness is a way of describing this fallen world in which we don't know why we're here even. We can't touch meaning because we ultimately can't see God, and we can't be satisfied because we were made for God. We were made as this entire creation. The whole cosmos was made to the glory of God. It all exists to reveal the glory and the majesty, the beauty, the complexity, the creative love and power of God. And all of it gives praise to Him, except for fallen angels and rebellious human hearts. We're made literally to live for the glory of God, to worship Him, to give thanks to Him. That's what heaven is. It's not just a big prayer meeting, but it is the full celebration of free souls and creatures just overwhelmed by the majesty and beauty of God. And we're sharing in it. We're not just watching it like we do on a movie, that when it's over, it's over. We're in it. We're sharing in the life. And it's total and absolute fulfillment. We can't hardly even imagine what that's like. The best we can do in this world is to have some measure of distraction or something that makes me feel good temporarily. Or temporary goals that we kind of have hope in. Those intermediate goals are good goals, but they don't solve the big problem. They don't produce genuine heart that brings peace to the soul and transformation.
Peter Herbeck spreads Fire on the Earth, weekday mornings at 6:30 and again at 11:45 on Ave Maria Radio.
So many calls up there, and I just want to apologize because I can't get to you, but please call back, and I will answer it. Real quick, Sean off the air. He's in OCIA. He's going to get baptized in the church. He's afraid of dying before it happens. Sean, you go to I'm going to jump to Miriam because I told her she was next, but Sean, you go to looking up baptism of desire. When you desire to be baptized, and your plan is to be baptized, and somehow, some way you don't make it to that baptism, the church views that as you having been baptized. So do not worry. You do not have to worry. Your goal is heading into the church. Your goal is to be baptized. And if you get hit by a truck next month, our Lord will view that as the church has taught. You have a baptism of desire. The worry for you, Sean, is not at all necessary. Let's go to Miriam from Colorado. 4 kids under 5. She says, oh, man, I get mad when they're acting up. I would, too. Hi, Miriam.
Hi. Yeah.
Well, I got about 2.5 minutes, and I'm going to give you more details on this, but I have a book called Discipline That Lasts a Lifetime, and it talks about all of this, okay? Going to get you back in charge. You're going to take care of your frustration. It's on my website. However, let me give you a couple of things, dear. First of all, you're going to live in chaos, man. You got 4 kids under 5, you got chaos. Flat out. It's the way it is, because they do kid stuff. Second of all, your frustration comes from the fact that they shouldn't be doing this. Why are they doing this? Why are they being so difficult? Well, that's because they're kids. That's what they do. Okay, that's 2. But here's probably the biggest one, my dear. This is the biggest one. If you don't have discipline authority, you're in big trouble. You can't get them to go to bed. You can't get them to not defy you. You can't get them to do anything because it's going to be a brawl. You can't get them to stand in a corner. You can't get them to sit on the steps. If you do not have that discipline power, you get frustrated. You get so frustrated. And your knee-jerk reaction is to get mad. And your attitude is, quit making my life so difficult. Okay, did I miss any of that?
Yeah, pretty much. My issue is we have good discipline. The kids do listen. It's mostly like how do I be merciful while still maintaining discipline?
Oh, that's easy. That's real easy. You look at your kids and you say, they're kids. They have no conscience. They have very little impulse control. They're completely self-centered. They're little sinners, like the rest of us. So they're going to do all this stuff. See, you expect them to be easier than they are. If you got good discipline, dear, which means I was wrong, then you're 90% of the way there. In the meantime, you're going to have to repeat a lot of this discipline, knowing that on any given day they could go to the corner 6 times. Okay? Do you go to confession?
Yes.
Well, do you tell the priest, I don't have any sins because I got rid of all of them? Or do you tell the priest,
Nope.
This is okay? So then how come you're allowed to keep doing that stuff, but you get frustrated when your kids keep doing it? They got an excuse. They're kids.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah. I go to confession and I say, hey, Father, here's the list, okay? Well, why am I still doing that? I'm a grown-up. You got 4 kids under 5. They're just going to act up. But, it isn't really even acting up. It's just being kids and doing the scrap that kids do that you have to discipline a lot. But once it's done, once they get off the steps, it's over. All right, call me back. And Francesca and all of you, please call back. I got to run. I'm Dr. Ray. Walk with God.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.